Hey guys, what is going on? My name is Paget Kagy. I am a frequency healer, which means that I help you identify your deepest energetic blocks. We release them so that you can align into the life that you were meant to live. So I just wanted to come on because I haven't been on here in a little bit, and I wanted to give an energy update and things that I have been feeling and downloading and perceiving in terms of what is happening in the collective consciousness right now. So I know that people talk about this all the time, but I don't talk about something unless I actually feel it, or unless I'm really perceiving it for myself. So the past couple of weeks, I've felt this, you can call it a divide or a split happening. Now, the split has just been happening, right? Between people who choose to take, I guess you can say, the more awakened path, who choose to rise with the rise of consciousness, and those who choose to kind of just stay the same. Okay, that split has already been happening, but in the past couple of weeks, I have just felt this split become even more pronounced, like almost as though it's kind of set in stone whether you are on this path or you are on this path. And let me make it clear, like neither one is better than the other. And almost what's really interesting is that when I feel into this, it almost just feels as though, okay, the people who are choosing not to, let's say, go on the awakened path and like accelerate in consciousness, right? It's not like anything is going to necessarily happen to them exactly, right? It's just going to feel like, okay, they're just staying in this level of reality, right? They're playing by the old rules. They're set in stone in those old rules. They're going to continue to live out their lives under those old premises or those old paradigms. Whereas the people on this other end, the people who are actually choosing to elevate in consciousness, they're going to be opened up to new rules, new paradigms, new opportunities, new ways of being, new ways of living, new ways of connecting. It's just going to be a lot lighter, right? Things are going to happen a lot quicker. Like, so for instance, I've been talking about this where in like this year, 2024, it's really a year of massive amounts of changes. Like if you are on this other trajectory of elevating in consciousness, you can welcome in lots of change this year. I mean, accelerated change, because as consciousness just gets lighter or less dense, change can happen a lot quicker, right? It can be a little bit disorienting and a little bit scary, let's say, right? Old things fall out of your lives. Old people are going to fall out of your life really suddenly, randomly. And while it might feel kind of confusing and maybe a little bit like heartbreaking, on the other hand, like, you know that they're just not coming with you on your journey. You just know at a deeper level that they're just not meant to be in your life, right? So while it might have been completely devastating 2 years ago, this year, if people fall out of your life, it just feels natural. It just feels organic. It's just like, yeah, okay, we're just on separate paths. And that's kind of that's it, right? We don't need to make a big meal over it. We're just going into different directions. So I'm going to talk more about, what is coming for those who have chosen or who are choosing, right, to elevate in their level of consciousness, choosing that path. So a few things, but one of them is that old control sources, old paradigms, let's say when it comes to abundance, when it comes to relationships, when it even comes to let's say the corporate, like old corporate structure, like companies and things like that, they're just not going to have as much pull as they used to, right? Like old control sources are not going to have as much influence in this sphere of consciousness, right? With this group of people, let's say. It's almost like they're literally going to be creating like a different reality for themselves. I don't know exactly what that's going to look like, but that's just what it feels like. It's literally like they're two different worlds existing in the same world, but operating from completely different rule sets. It's very, very interesting. I do feel like community, because of the split that is happening as well, but community is going to become more and more important, right? Like people are really going to be looking for their quote unquote tribe, but in a larger sense. Like I can see people building their own cities, building their own towns, just building their own communities physically, also virtually as well. But people are looking for, quote, their people. People are actually wanting to now be connected with community in a more authentic way. This is going to be more and more important. It's going to be a higher priority for people. Things are also, again, going to be easier to create, right? So when it comes to manifesting, for instance, it's just going to be easier to create, easier to, let's say, manifest than it would be like 5 years ago, right? There's less density, there's less friction that you're having to work up against. And this also ties into why, let's say, manifesting certain physical things, while it's still going to be amazing and you still want to be able to do that, right? Because we came here to experience our creational power in this human density form. It's also going to hold, let's say, a little bit less value than it did 5 to 10 years ago. It's like, yes, I can manifest these things, and yes, that's great. But really what I'm really looking for is I'm looking for real, like, deeper inherent value. Okay, I'm looking for that deeper sense of fulfillment, that deeper sense of purpose in my life. I'm actually willing to, let's say, forego old securities or old ways of being that I've been attached to in favor of just like finding myself, in favor of connecting with myself at a deeper level, connecting to that powerful, brilliant self, your higher self. And in that, people are going to start going back to what's, quote, truly important, right? Connecting with themselves, connecting with other people, enjoying the, quote, small things in life, connecting with nature in a deeper way. And in that, there is a sort of almost like, let's say, nirvana that can be experienced here on earth, where you understand at a fundamental, deeper level why we are even here. Right? Why we are even here. Not like purpose in terms of, okay, well, I'm meant to coach people, or okay, I'm meant to serve people in this way, but like a deeper sense of humanity's purpose. Okay, from a higher perspective, which is I wanted to come here to experience this dense body, the density here in this time-space reality. But I also, while doing that, my main purpose, or the bigger, higher goal that I was looking for, was being able to remember my limitlessness while being able to be in this density. Remember who you truly are, the nature of who you truly are. And that is something that happens at an internal, a deeper internal level. It's not something that just happens with your mindset. And this is why more and more people are going to have what you would typically call an existential crisis, where they're like, oh my gosh, who am I? What is my purpose? My sense of reality is completely changing. What is important to me? What are my priorities, right? And they're really going to be questioning their identity at a deeper level, because the old ways of being and the old like paradigms and the old constructions of like the way life needs to be, or what is actually important to us, right? A lot of those things are going to be falling away, especially the people who are choosing this other path. So for people who are choosing that path of awakening, it might be a little tougher for you in some senses, right? Because you are going to have to go through that identity shift as consciousness rises. You are going to have to let go of a lot of old garbage from your field, which was what was actually informing your old reality. So you have to let go of old identities, let go of old identity structures within you, old paradigms, old ways of being, old ways of thinking, right? In order for you to be able to then come into that new version of self. But that is not always like the most fun process. But if you're able to let go of that garbage, right, you come into that new version of self, you're going to be rebuilding your life on a new solid foundation. Also, your intuition is also going to get stronger and stronger. So like I read people, right? I read people's energy, but more and more people are going to be able to do this, right? And they're going to be able to do it on a conscious level, because everyone is already doing it. I'm just able to do it on a conscious level, but more and more people are going to be able to do that on a conscious level, right? Now, everyone has their own intuitive gifts. Their intuitive gifts show up in different kinds of ways, right? right? For some people, it's around business. For other people, it's around art. And I believe that is something that you kind of chose so that you could have the experience of being a human in the way that you wanted to have the experience of being a human. So everyone's not going to exactly walk around like just reading people's patterns and everything like that. But your intuition is going to heighten. You're going to be able to see through people better. And again, this is where the community aspect comes in, right? This is where people want genuine connections with others. Now, this is something that people ask me, which is like, okay, well, what if I'm choosing to accelerate and what if I'm choosing to ascend, but like my family isn't? First of all, part of this process, at some point in the process, you have to be able to let go of your attachment to other people coming along with you, right? It doesn't matter if it's your partner or your parents or even your kids to some degree. And I know a lot of people are really going to hate me saying that, but it's just true, because that is not really setting the example. That desire to have people come with you, that's from fear and that is from control, right? The way you actually set the example is just by being the example and getting enough momentum in being the example that other people around you go, oh my God, I want what she's having. And they end up just naturally entraining to you. They end up just naturally shifting with you. So here's what I will say. If you have people who are in your life who are very close to you, it's going to be very apparent to you. Okay. Very quickly, is this person going to stay in my life or are they going to fall out of my life? But when they fall out of your life, yes, it's not going to feel good, but it's almost going to be organic, right? Like I said before, it's going to be more natural. But if they stay in your life, it might be a little rocky as they try to adjust to you and you're trying to adjust to this new frequency too within yourself. But like, if they're there with you and they're coming along with you, even if it's rocky, then they're coming along with you, right? Then they're meant to ascend with you. They're meant to come with you in that journey. So I guess the bottom line is don't worry whether someone is coming with you or not. You focus on you, and then all the things that are meant to be stay in your reality will stay in your reality, will adjust, will upgrade. And the things that would just weigh you down, the things that would actually not serve you in that new reality will naturally just fall away. Okay, so I've already kind of talked about this, but how is this really going to show up in your life, especially this year, in the next couple years or so? And it's probably already been happening to you anyway, but it might just be like quicker and more magnified now. Change is the big word in the air. Change, 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 right? You have to be open for things changing. Again, old priorities changing. Again, old like expectations changing. New opportunities being able to come into your field. You want to open up those receptors within you so that you can welcome completely new paradigms, right? What you don't want to do is hold on to old ways of being, because then this process is just going to get a lot harder, because this is a process that you already decided on a much deeper level that you wanted to be a part of. So you can either do it the easy way, which is just being able to like go with the flow of the change, be the observer of the change, welcome in that change, or you can do it the more difficult way, which is hold on to old attachments. So if you can just sink in, stay centered within yourself and go with the flow of the change and trust like a buoy in the water that you're always going to elevate. You're always going to rise no matter what waves come at you. This whole process is going to be a lot easier. And the thing that I see with people who really take this journey into accelerating into their best possible selves, their higher self will have their back in one way or another. I'm not saying it's going to be easy, but their higher selves have their back. Their higher selves know what's up. And so we have to sink more into that trust that my higher self has its spidey senses out there at a level that I am not consciously aware of. It knows what's coming. It knows where the people are. It knows where the opportunities are. It knows where everything is in the field. So I don't have to consciously know. If you want to elevate your frequency, let go of the old, I highly recommend doing my 11-day Reset Your Reality Challenge. It's going to force you to uncover and dig up that deep, sludgy energy stuff that you're holding on to. It's amazing what can get unearthed and what can shift in just 11 days. So I will leave that link below for you guys. But until next time, take care of yourselves and I will see you soon.